What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel and welcome to episode 1 of the Timber Ridge Recurve build series. I've been pretty excited about this, not gonna lie. Not only excited for a little bit change of pace with a different bow and a new challenge and a new tune and a completely new setup, but also to bring you guys this series and this kind of journey along with how I do things. Granted, I just want to let you know I am not an expert. I'm not a competition shooter. I'm a hunter. Everything that I do is based around practicality and hunting mindset. I try to bulletproof everything that I do because I want to be able to hunt as hard as I need to in whatever conditions I need to. So that's kind of the theme and the common denominator that you're gonna see throughout this whole series. But I think you guys are really gonna enjoy this, and I'm really looking forward to bringing it all to you. So without waiting any longer, let's jump right into it. Well, I can't think of a better place to start than the bow that I chose to go with. So I gave it a lot of thought. I wasn't looking for something real expensive, definitely in the realm of the manufactured bows, because really my whole purpose in this particular build is I'm kind of in the experimental phase of seeing what I really like and what really works for me as a stepping stone towards a custom bow, which is the end goal. And rather than spending upwards of $1,400–1,500 on a custom bow, which are worth it, figuring out what I like then after I've already spent that kind of money and waited months to receive it, I would rather go ahead and try to test out some of that stuff and figure out some of those things now on a less expensive bow that I can tune up, get it as good as I could possibly get it, and use it for a season or two and really hone in what I think is best for me. So the bow, I chose the Timber Ridge 60-inch recurve by Fleetwood. As far as a particular reason why I chose this bow, there were some other bows in the same price range as this one that did definitely catch my eye, but the more I looked at this one, I'm like, this has a lot of pretty cool features for the price. It's got a little bit less aggressive recurve. I think this falls more along the lines of what they call the early models, or the 50s style bare bow recurves, with a less aggressive curve. It's a 3-piece takedown with a shelf cut just barely before center, about a 32nd before center, and reinforced tips. So, and really pretty gorgeous wood. I mean, just look at the craftsmanship. I mean, the woods that they chose, I'm not disappointed in at all. Even for a budget, I guess you could say, priced bow or consumer priced bow, they really didn't skimp, I don't think, on the materials. Everything is very nice. The brass limb bolts and the woods that they chose to use, the veneers and stuff, it's all beautiful. And the clear fiberglass, it really kind of, I feel like, brought this bow to the next level while keeping it a very doable price point. So this was the one that I chose to go with. Upon receiving the bow, that's why you see it strung right now, I really wanted to do like a full unboxing and me seeing it for the first time, you seeing it for the first time sort of thing. But I had this hunch, just knowing my luck and how it seems to go ordering a bow online. I told myself I've gotta go ahead and take a look for myself, put it together, make sure everything's okay. And unfortunately, and before I say this is nothing against Three Rivers. I don't think that they send out bad merchandise on purpose or anything like that. They're human, and they have great customer service, and I have no problem dealing with them. I think they're an excellent company, but this bow did have a little bit of twist towards the end of this top limb. It wasn't a real large amount, but it was enough that my heart sank just a little bit whenever I pulled it out of the box and put it together and kind of started eyeballing the limbs and looking it all over. And before I got instantly bummed out, I just kind of started thinking about, okay, what am I gonna do? And rather than with the way things are right now as far as the mail system and sending packages and them reviewing it and getting it back to me, for what I'm trying to achieve with this setup and my comfort level with it, I really didn't want to wait 3 weeks plus to get a bow back. And it was so minor, really and truly, that I was okay with moving forward with this bow and keeping this exact bow, and this is why. What I did was I ended up taking a rubber inner tube, like bike tire inner tube, and I shimmed underneath this limb bolt on this side of the riser to rotate the whole limb just slightly over against the slight twist in the end of this limb towards the tip, to bring that tip back into alignment, to kind of get a happy medium. And like I said, it's so slight, I really don't think it's going to hurt the performance of the bow or its tunability. It draws well. I drew it multiple times. I went ahead and strung it, left it strung for a while, drew it some more, listened for any noise, any unalignment with the string falling back into the grooves, and I didn't see any of that. So I feel comfortable with just pushing forward with this build, with this bow, and keeping this bow rather than going through the trouble of waiting weeks to get another one back. So again, nothing against Three Rivers. I don't blame them for this, but in the end, I'm confident and comfortable just moving forward with this bow. This is a 60-inch long bow, 45 pounds at 28 inches. That's a little bit longer and a little bit less weight than my old rig. Here's why. With this new setup, and like I said, just moving forward with where I'm at as far as my current skill level, and with a custom bow being the end state here, I wanted a longer bow, and because I do want the forgiveness and the shootability and just overall better performance that comes from a longer bow. I didn't want to go all the way to a 64-inch bow, although to me that might even be where I end up. I knew in state being I wanted a longer bow and wanted to move to a longer bow, so I went ahead and increased up to the 60-inch mark, but decreased down to 45 pounds from shooting 50 pounds in my last setup. It's pretty well common knowledge that as you drop in draw weight, you're going to increase in accuracy. Your Olympic archers, your barebow guys, indoor, outdoor, everyone, they're shooting, most of them, I'm pretty sure, in the mid-upper 30s in the men's divisions. So they're not shooting a lot of weight. They're shooting a lower weight that's more manageable. They're trying to shoot 300 rounds. And as hunters, especially in the whitetail woods, you're still wanting to strike that happy balance. But I was shooting accurately with the 50 or 52.5, but the longevity wasn't there, and I knew it wasn't. So I knew ultimately I need to think about coming down and draw weight and seeing how that works for me. And I'm just going to focus a little bit harder on the arrow and try to put that energy into the tune and get the same, if not better, results than I was before. My initial impressions of this bow, for the price especially, I'm very impressed. like I said, it's a beautiful bow. Fit and finish, you know, quality control, some stuff just is to be expected. You know, some of the lines, you know, where like these tapers and angles cut, you know, on the limb bases where they fade into the riser, you know, some of those lines are kind of off. Some of the limb edges, I thought were a little bit on the sharp side, not like they're gonna cut you or something. They're just, the quality control is appropriate to the price and the budget of the bow. So keep that in mind when you get it. But again, my initial impression upon unboxing it was, wow, that's a beautiful bow. And so I am not disappointed. The grip, I think ultimately, I'm on that journey towards having a bow that I can have a high wrist grip. This is a medium grip, but the size of it and how it's necked down, it's kind of small, but it places your hand really well. At least my hand, I've got pretty large hands even, and the placement is very consistent and repetitive. And I'm very happy with it, and I think it's gonna do very nicely. And it's a satin finish, whereas my last one was more of a gloss, more of a slick finish. So I don't foresee myself having to add any skateboard deck tape or anything like that to this bow. We'll see it's starting to get warm outside. So as the sweat gets worse and the humidity climbs, we'll see how that handles still. And if I need to end up adding some texture to it, I will. But as far as my initial impressions for the Fleetwood Timber Ridge 60-inch recurve, I'm impressed. Other than the limb issue, which I think is going to ultimately be a non-issue by the time it's all said and done. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on my social media accounts, but I think it's going to work out. I think we're going to be okay. As far as what it came with, and then I'll move on, kind of getting long-winded here. It came with a Flemish twist string. As far as material, I'm not really sure, but it came with a black and tan Flemish twist string. Seemingly pretty nice string. I'm gonna keep it as a backup. It came with an Allen wrench for assembly. It came packaged very well. Everything was wrapped up in foam protection. The case, really and truthfully, I'm not overly upset about the case, even though you all might shoot me for saying this, but I don't foresee myself taking this bow apart very much, if ever. I'm gonna throw it in the truck and drive to where I'm gonna hunt kind of a guy. It's not so much, I don't fly, I don't do a lot of out-of-state hunting, so I may not ever use this, but you know, for the guys that do and they're looking for info from this video, I'm pretty impressed. It's actually a pretty nice little case that they send it in for what you're paying. Again, all in all, especially if you were to get a bow that didn't have the limb issue, you know, where you had to send it back or anything like that, this is a great value. It's a great bow, and the fit and finish, for the money and what you're getting here, I'm impressed. I mentioned that string, the one it came with is going to be an extra. So before I move on, I'm going to tell you where I'm going on this build as far as the string. This is the string I ordered with this bow. This is a D97 string from Three Rivers Archery, a high performance string. I wanted to go ahead and swap out because I knew that whatever string this came with, obviously it wasn't going to be a very high-end string, well, we'll just put it that way, and I'm trying to eke all the performance out of this bow that I can. So the D97 is going to be the string for this build, and it's already it's been strung all day. I just went ahead and strung it up and left it strung to see what kind of stretch we got, and it's stretched from about that 8 3/8 mark down to about an 8 1/8. It's looking good so far. This build, I will be starting it out. It's at 8-inch brace height. The range on this bow is from 7.5-inch brace to 8.5-inch brace. I will be starting this one at 8 inches, as I do every other bow. Quiver, of course, going to be a 5-arrow slide-on quiver from Selway. best quiver company on the market. I love those guys. I hope they see this video. They know that I love their stuff. So let's see what else. I will be running a clicker on this bow. I am playing an exit strategy from this. I don't want to become a slave to it. I am putting it on this bow with the intention of hopefully being able to get it off and get to where it's not going to really matter one way or another if it's on there or not. I'll be ditching the string as usual and chain that it comes with, and swapping out with D-loop material from the local pro shop. This other stuff that you see in here, which will move me to the next item. This is paracord shell that's been gutted, and this will be silencer material on this build. If any of you all are wondering why, this is my opportunity to plug the guys over at The Push. Go listen to their podcast with Cody Greenwood from the Trad Lab, doing their silencer study. And the synthetic materials, as you see here, kind of like the paracord, this isn't going to get wet and retain a lot of water. I mean, of course it's going to get wet, but it's not going to retain a ton of water. And all this right here, this is for 2 silencers, one top, one bottom. This is around 10 to 12 grains of weight. What I was running on my previous setup was 2 yarn ball silencers, and those were somewhere around that 40 to 50 grains, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. I gained performance and was just as quiet with less weight on my string. So something else that's going to be a trend with this bow is trying to pick up a lot of free speed. I'm going to be running a heavier arrow, but I'm definitely trying to eke all the speed out of this bow that I can get. Its speed is not the most important thing for me in this setup, or any setup for that matter. Definitely care more about performance and accuracy, but if I can pick up free speed, then that's definitely what I'm going to be trying to do. Let's see if there's anything else on the bow. I got some Velcro loop material that I'll be doing the shelf. I'm going to be starting shooting off the shelf. I'm going to see how that goes, see how it tunes. I expect it's going to tune just fine with the makeup of this bow and how everything's laid out and centered up. But if I need to move to elevated, then I will, and I'll cover that in another video if need be. But as of right now, I'm starting this bow off with the plan and intention of shooting it off the shelf. What is this thing called? The Ready Shot arrow holder. I will not ever have a stick bow that does not have one of these on it. My last rig had the Quick Lock, I think it was called, arrow holder. It was a little bit more expensive than this one. It's actually, I think, almost double the price of this one. So that's why I wanted to try this one. Just give it a shot. I'm also trying to, test some things out with this setup and see how I like them. So if I can get, the same function of an arrow holder that I was getting before for, about half the price, why not? So that's the one I'll be running. Tip protector for the bottom limb tip. I like to, have my bows tipped on the ground and, lean against the side of the blind, or if I'm doing something, lean against the side of the truck. So I definitely have the limb tip protector on the bottom limb. For the arrow, which I'll be doing a completely different video going over the arrows that's going to be shot out of this setup and my plans and intentions. Mostly because I don't have everything here. I've got arrows being fletched up right now, but I'm keeping one back to start bare tuning, which you'll be seeing in one of the next couple videos. The arrows, I'm sticking with Easton Carbon Legacies. I was really back and forth on the arrows, what I was gonna do, what arrows I was gonna go with, and I didn't want to spend an ungodly amount on arrows, but I know these arrows. I shot them on my last setup, and I really like them a lot. I went ahead and dropped a spine range with these, went for 340 spine, and I'm gonna try to keep these even though I dropped in weight, I dropped in spine too, because I want to keep these arrows as long as possible to keep them as heavy as possible. They are 10.1 grains per inch. They're one of the heavier arrows in that I could find in anywhere in that price range, north or south, in the 340 spine range. A lot of them were still in the like 9.5 grains per inch. This is 10.1, so it is the heavier arrow. That's what I want. I want to end up with as heavy an arrow as possible, but I'm still only running about 215 grains total up front. A heavy arrow is more important than tip weight. Tip weight helps. It's definitely important, and FOC is not a non-factor. FOC is important too, but everything's a give and take with a trad bow, and my give and take is I want a heavy overall arrow weight, while still I'm going to be, like I said, 215 grains up front, which is not light by any means. I'm shooting pretty heavy setup overall. I am estimating that this overall arrow weight is going to end up somewhere in that 550 range. I'm interested to see how close that I get, but I should be landing somewhere around that 11.5 to 12, which might be pushing it, probably around 11.5 grains of arrow weight per pound of draw weight, which is my goal. I want to be well past that 10, more like the 11 to 12, which I think is about where I'm going to be on this. So that's the hope anyway. And like I said, I'm going to be covering the arrow setup and the tuning process in the later videos, so you're gonna have to come back for those. But that's what I got, guys. That's what's gonna be happening and what I'm working with going into this build. I'm pretty optimistic. Like I said, there was a little bit of letdown with the limb issue, but I think it's gonna be fine. If I didn't think it was gonna be fine, I would have already had this thing in a box and on its way back to Three Rivers. But I think we're gonna be all right, and I'm not really too worried about it. Always go ahead and get a catalog from them while you're at it. They're free, can't hurt anything. So anyway, that's all I got for this video, guys. Be sure to check back in for the second video, which is gonna be me setting up this bow, just the bow setup, getting the nocks tied in, silencers in place, clicker setup, rest, shelf setup, all that. That's going to be in the next video, so be sure to come back for it. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment below. Share with your friends and hit the bell icon to make sure you don't miss future videos. And if you haven't already got over to my Instagram EC page, to give it a follow, be sure to do that too. I'd post a lot of content over there. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Shoot straight.